we are winning, and we're showing them the definition of American justice. And we're showing them war and misery and torture.
Everyone of every color, every land, and every creed.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists, and all have our prayers.
Should be equal to each other. Brotherhood means all are free.
And so it just like hits you about 50 times a day that you're never going to talk to them or never going to see them again.
Come be happy, bring your neighbor. Join us in our work and play. We can share this world together and work toward a better day.
You know, I'm not ashamed to say that this is a place where you can come and feel loved.
share this world together and work toward a better day.
Part of history was written by others, the rest will be written by us. The voice of the people must be heard without weakening the good influence of society. The desire to live in freedom, in Spain, Thailand, An attack from the shadows. True threats to our national security. Vice President Cheney, true threat to our national security.
The light was shining abroad, and if you look at what was doing, I was
Thailand.
in constant contact to make sure that those things were getting done. But
Denmark.
I think we've created a kind of false impression, or a not quite correct impression.
You're right. There are reports that that's what Saddam Hussein said.
People will ask, did we do all that we needed to do to arm the domestic agencies, to warn the domestic agencies, and to respond to the possibility
Parents,
of domestic threat?
schools, and government on true threats to our national
Was
security.
his view at the time. But I think the question is, I think given the circumstances, why over all of these years did we not address, given the structure we did that were there?
Decisive and democratic action is needed. Decisive and democratic action is needed.
Everything today was a lie before he even knew what he was going to say. And there are a lot of things like that that can go wrong.
The structural problems. In fact, after the fact, that, in fact, I think, was his view at the time, and I have to tell you, I think given the circumstances and given the
Spain.
context and given the structures that we had, we did.
Italy. Internationalized. Denmark. Hungary, Bulgaria, Ukraine. Unless you act, Istanbul, this great republic, the Philippines. Thailand, please send me a letter. Jakarta, true threat to our national security. Spain. Japan. Riyadh. Poland. Jerusalem. Reflect our values. Spain.
September 11th.
Denmark. Promote conservation and make America less dependent on foreign sources of energy.
We are doing our best to live within the straitjacket that has been imposed on this subject,
Spain,
and trying to find ways that we can write things in a way that people can understand them and function and not break the law, and still break the law.
Riyadh.
This week, if I'm not mistaken, probably an hour and a half, trying to fashion rules that would be simple enough so that people who have the task in a few instances, in a second or two, to make a decision what they can do and what they can't do.
An attack from the shadows.
And it is very complex, and it is unfortunate, in my humble opinion.
South Korea.
Simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction, There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, against
Iraq genuinely wanted to disarm. We would not have to be worrying about setting up means of looking for mobile biological units or any units of that kind. They would be presented to us. We would not need an extensive program to search for and look for underground facilities that we know exist.
You said we're headed to war in Iraq. I don't know why you say that. I hope we're not headed to war in Iraq. I'm the person who gets to decide, not you.
Every rock, go to every crossroad, peer into every cave for evidence, for proof. And we must not allow Iraq to shift the burden of proof onto the inspectors, nor can we return.
Nobody can threaten this country. Oh, they may be able to bomb up buildings. I was sitting outside the classroom waiting to go in, and I saw an airplane hit the tower of a TV. You know, the TV was obviously on, and I used to fly myself, and I said, well, there's one terrible pilot.
simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends.
September 11th.
Not to stay as an occupying power, not to stay and sacrifice.
Setting up means of looking for mobile biological units or any units of that kind, they will be presented to us.
Courage and compassion.
This seems to me to show that Iraq is still not cooperating. Inspectors should not have to look.
Sovereignty means that. It's sovereign. You've been given sovereignty and you're viewed as a sovereign entity. And therefore, the relationship between the federal government and between sovereign entities.
Still of non-cooperation. If Iraq genuinely wanted to disarm, we would not have to be worrying about setting up means of looking for mobile biological units or any units of that kind that would be presented to us. We would not need an extensive program to search for and look
Americans took those dollars
for facilities that we know exist.
and attacked from the shadows.
Inspectors should not have to look under every rock, go to every crossroad, peer into every cave for evidence, for proof. And we must not allow Iraq to shift the burden of proof on the inspectors, nor can we return to the failed bargain of Resolution 1284, which offered partial
Courage and compassion has dignity and value in God's sight. Parents, schools, and government, skilled and tireless. Courage and compassion. Good evening. Before I take your questions, let me speak with the American people about the situation in Iraq. This has been tough weeks in that country. You know,
The very fact that we make these requests seems to me to show that Iraq is still not cooperating. The inspectors should not have to look under every rock, go to every crossroad, peer into every cave for evidence.
September 11th.
We must not allow Iraq to shift the burden of proof on the inspectors, nor can we return to the failed bargain of Resolution 1284.
September 11th.
There is no doubt. There is no doubt.
September 11th.
We have a great advantage, courage and compassion. This vile display to stay as an occupying power without regard for the will of the people. Vice President Cheney, this great republic, we have no desire to dominate, the desire to live in freedom. Accurate national election. That's not asking too much. Strong and growing stronger. Not to stay as an occupying power. It reveals a fanaticism, has dignity and value in God's sight. Compassion for one another. Courage and compassion. So they reflect our values. And war is what they got. And truth. And the death of democracy. And it is right and false. Sacrifice and hold this hard-won ground. And benefit our economy.
There is no doubt.
Why do they hate us? They hate what they see right here in this chamber. A democratically elected government. Their leaders are self-appointed. They hate our freedoms. Our freedom of religion. Our freedom of speech. Our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other. They want to overthrow existing governments in many Muslim countries. Why do they hate us? Why do they hate us? Why do they hate us? They stand against us because we stand in their way. We're not deceived by their pretenses to piety. We have seen their kind before. They are the heirs of all the murderous ideologies of the 20th century. By sacrificing human life to serve their radical visions, by abandoning every value except the will to power, they follow in the path of fascism, Nazism, and totalitarianism. And they will follow that path all the way to where it ends, in history's unmarked grave of discarded lies. I ask your continued participation and confidence in the American economy. Terrorists attacked a symbol of American prosperity. They did not touch its source. America is successful because of the hard work and creativity and enterprise of our people. These were the true strengths of our economy before September 11th, and they are our strengths today.
September 11th changed the nature of war forever. We can go to the American people on winning this war because they trust the Republican Party to do a better job of protecting and strengthening America's military than they're not protecting.
retired, you don't have anything to worry about. Third time I've said that.
September 11th changed the nature of war forever. We can go to
I'll probably say it 3 more times, see. In my line of work, you gotta keep repeating things over and over and over again
strengthening America
for the truth to sink in.
and thereby protecting America. And we should be proud of the
And so,
record of our
in my speech to the nation, whatever you want to call it, speech to the nation, I asked Americans to give 4,000 hours over the rest of your life of service to America. That's what I asked. I said 4,000 hours.
September 11th changed the nature of war forever. We can go to the American people on winning this war because they trust the Republican Party to do a better job of protecting and strengthening America's military might and thereby protecting America. And we should be proud of the record of our party doing just that.
When I first saw that tape, he had taken the war and he had turned it into a war.
September 11th changed the nature of war forever. We can go to the American people on winning this war because they trust the Republican Party to do a better job of protecting and strengthening America's military might and thereby protecting America. And we should be proud of the record of our party doing just that.
When I first saw that tape, he had taken the war and turned it into a war.
Now, if you're a worker who earns $35 a year over your lifetime, and this system were in effect where you could put 4% of your payroll taxes in a personal account, and you started at age 20, by the time you retired, your personal account would grow to $250,000. That's compounding rate of interest.
September 11th changed the nature of war forever. We can go to the American people on winning this war because they trust the Republican Party to do a better job of protecting and strengthening America's military might and thereby protecting America. And we should be proud of the record of our party doing just that.
In terms of, here's the way the system works. 2 folks work. They both contribute to the Social Security system. If one dies early, the spouse, the remaining spouse gets to choose her benefits or his benefits, which are ever greater, but not both. Now think about that system.
you're free. And freedom is beautiful. And, it'll take time to restore chaos and order, but we will.
You mean we're going to leave the business of the most important issues in the world to the people who run the country? I mean, how stupid can you be? I mean, haven't we had enough experience historically with leaving the important decisions to the people in the White House, to the people in Congress, to the people in the Supreme Court, to the people in government, the entire lots of experience with people.
By our actions, we have shown what kind of nation we are.
Well, it takes only a little bit of history to realize how dangerous it is to think that the people who run the country know what they're doing. Patriotism does not mean support for your government. Patriotism means support for your country.
Promote conservation and make America less dependent on foreign sources of energy.
September 11th changed the nature of war forever. We can go to the American people on winning this war because they trust the Republican Party to do a better job of protecting and strengthening America's military might and thereby protecting America. And we should be proud of the record of our party in doing just that.
The words of the Declaration of Independence, the right to life, liberty, and property, apply not only to people in this country, but to people in other countries, to people everywhere. People everywhere in the world have the same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
God is looking down on all this, and if they are not doing everything in their power to save people, they are going to pay the price. Because every day that we delay, people are dying.
You know, I'm serious. As I say, you're catching me totally fresh. Gosh, Blacks are gagging on the donkey, but not yet ready to swallow the elephant.
I've talked directly with the president. I've talked to the head of the Homeland Security. I've talked to everybody under the sun. I've been out there, man. I flew these helicopters, been in the crowds, talking to people, crying, don't know where their relatives are.
You know, let me talk about Al Qaeda just for a second.
I keep hearing that it's coming. This is coming, that is coming. And my answer to that today is these goddamn ships that are coming, I don't see them.
Gosh,
They flew down here one time, 2 days after the doggone event was over, with TV cameras, AP reporters, all kind of goddamn, excuse my French, everybody in America. But I am pissed.
Blacks.
You know, let me talk about Al Qaeda just for a second. I made the statement that we're dismantling senior management, and we are. Our people have done a really good job of hauling in a lot of the key operators. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Abu Zubaydah, Ramzi al-Shib, or whatever the guy's name was.
The good news is, and it's hard for some to see it now, that out of this chaos is going to come a fantastic Gulf Coast, like it was before. Out of the rubbles of Trent Lott's house, his house lost his entire house, there's going to be a fantastic house, and I'm looking forward to sitting on the porch.
Government is not doing what it should be doing to safeguard the right of people to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.